fading away. The shadow stared at Kalen with a confused gaze before the power that had once possessed him vanished. His body was reduced to dust, floating away in the current, not as a cursed being, but as a soul that had finally been freed. The cracks in the altar disappeared. A soft blue light glowed. Ethel's heart was healed, and the captive spirit was freed. Not entirely, but freed from its torture. They did not disappear, but truly became part of the ocean, a glowing light that danced in the waters, the whispering of waves that told stories of the past. Kalen stood amidst the soft blue light that surrounded her. The blood that flowed from her wound had miraculously disappeared. She no longer felt pain, but felt a deep connection to the ocean, as if she had become part of it. Chapter 5: A New Dawn of the Sea. As the blue light faded, Kalen opened her eyes. She was still standing in the center of the sunken temple, but everything around her had changed. The ruins remained, but there was no longer any sadness or despair. Only a sense of peace pervaded her. Olin, Sergeant Sigma, Marissa, and Billy rushed to Kalen with concern. "Captain, are you okay?" Olin asked with a trembling voice. Kalen nodded. She felt different from before. The heaviness in her heart from the curse had completely disappeared. Her desire for revenge was replaced by understanding and peace. "The curse, it hasn't completely disappeared," said Kalen, "but it has been rebalanced. The souls of Queen Lyra and the Ethelites, and the souls of my parents, they are no longer tormented. They have become truly part of the ocean, the breath of the waves, the whispering of the wind. The seas remain perilous, storms will still rage, monsters will still lurk in the shadows, but illusions will no longer tempt spirits, and the eerie wails will be replaced by the faint song of the sea." The Nightbird slowly rose to the surface, its crew filled with hope and new understanding. As the ship rose above the water and was once again exposed to the sunlight, the sky was clearer than ever before, golden rays of sunlight streaming down the glittering water. Kalen stood on the deck of the ship, looking out at the vast horizon. She was no longer just a pirate, but a guardian of the balance of the seas, a living legend. The crew of the Nightbird looked at her with respect and devotion. They knew that this voyage was not the end, but a new beginning, the beginning of an era where humans would live with the seas with understanding, not fear or greed. Kalen continues to sail the oceans, but no longer in pursuit of the curse, but to protect the balance, to tell the story of Queen Lyra, Captain Arthur, and Captain Shadow, to remind people of the consequences of greed, anger, and betrayal. The legend of the curse of the deep blue sea continues to be told, but this time the story ends with hope, with liberation, and with a sacred connection between humans and the ocean. Beneath the moonlight, lucky sailors can sometimes hear the faint whisper of the waves. It is the song of the spirit of Ethel, singing a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption that makes the vast sea even more beautiful and mysterious. And on the distant horizon, beneath the twinkling stars, people still tell of the fierce three-masted schooner Nightbird and its courageous captain, Kalen, who turned a cursed legend into one of hope, who taught all humans that the sea is not just a place for adventure, but a part of our souls forever. Of course, this is a story about a cursed sea, pirates, and the world's most precious treasures, but it's as long as you want it to be. I hope you like it. The war at sea raged on, and Ethel fell to the hands of chaos. But before chaos could seize the heart of Ethel, Thalassa appeared. Rage erupted from the depths of the ocean, and she cast an eternal curse. "From now on, mortals will pay for your greed and suffering. The sea will bring no peace. It will be a graveyard for those who seek power, and the heart of Ethel will be sealed in a dimension inaccessible to those whose hearts are pure enough to merge with it. Death will follow every move of the usurper. In the blink of an eye, Chaos and his fleet were swallowed up by the ocean, leaving behind a legend of doom and a curse known as Thalassa's curse. From that day on, the oceans were never at peace. Storms raged, deep-sea monsters rose above the surface, merchant ships vanished without a trace. The waters swallowed the souls of their greedy sailors, and the legend of the Heart of Ethel became nothing more than a myth no one believed could ever be true. Over the centuries, the story of the curse of Thalassa has become a moral lesson and a children's tale. But for pirates, it was a tangible reality. Everyone knows that some waters are off limits, and the ghostly ships that wander aimlessly are the clearest warning. Chapter 1. Captain Kalen and the Siren Shadow Ship. Aboard the ship Shadow Siren, sailing through rough seas, a young captain named Kalen stares at an old map soaked in seawater. Kalen has eyes as azure as the deep sea, his long black hair tied back, and his face is riddled with scars that reflect his years of experience at sea. He's no ruthless pirate, but a young man driven by secrets from his past and a goal that extends far beyond gold. By his side is Vice Captain Raven, a fiery-haired swordswoman who hides her strength behind a cold smile. She's always been Kalen's voice of reason. And Crom, a burly mechanic covered in tattoos of sea creatures, is the ship's brains, an expert in all things nautical and mechanical. "Captain, are you sure this map will lead us to what you're looking for?" Raven asked, her voice laced with uncertainty. "It looks more like a madman's drawing than a ship's chart." Kalen raised his eyebrow slightly. The map he held didn't have a clear path, but it was filled with ancient symbols and an unknown language which he had obtained from an ancient shipwreck deep beneath the sea. "It's not an ordinary treasure, Raven. My father used to talk about it. The Heart of Ethel, a treasure that will break the curse." Raven sighed. The curse of Thalassa had taken everything from Kalen's family. He had recounted how his family was tormented by endless thirst as their ship was lost in cursed waters before he was rescued as a child. Kalen believed that the Heart of Ethel was the only way to end the sea's madness once and for all. Just then, the sound of a lump of meat hitting the ground rang out from above. Crom and a few other crew members were having fun playing the bomb game, which involved throwing smoke grenades at each other to dodge and practice throwing them. Crom laughed loudly when a grenade hit one of the crew members in the face. "Bang! Watch out!" Kalen shouted in warning. "We don't have enough bombs to throw around." Then a bell rang out from the mast. "Captain, another ship is approaching." Everyone on the Siren Shadow prepared. The ship that emerged from the mist was the Leviathan's Maw, a massive pirate ship captained by Varkos, who was known as the Devil of the Sea. Varkos was a giant with deep scars all over his face, one eye covered with an animal skin eye patch, and he was known for his ruthless cruelty, leaving no survivor behind. Kalen and Varkos were longtime enemies, and the two had fought over the waters and treasure countless times. "Varkos again?" Kalen growled. "It seems that demon wants to meet his end sooner than I thought." Chapter 2. Confrontation in the Cursed Territory. The clash between the Siren Shadow and the Leviathan's Claw begins violently. The two ships sail past each other, their crews firing arrows and cannonballs at each other without restraint. Captain Varkos stands on the deck of his ship, laughing maniacally as the cannons rain down on the Siren Shadow. "Kalen, where do you think you're running to?" Varkos shouted, his voice as loud as the storm. "Give me that map and I'll spare your lives." Kalen knows that Varkos is also searching for the Heart of Ethel. Varkos believes that with the power of the Heart of Ethel, he'll be able to control the ocean and become the unrivaled pirate king. "No way, you demon! You'll never get it!" Raven uses her dual blades to deflect incoming cannonballs, while Crom tries to use his advanced navigational skills to dodge the Leviathan's claw. But then the seas begin to rumble, massive waves erupting from the void. The sky is blanketed in dark clouds and lightning strikes furiously. This is the sign of the awakening of Thalassa's curse. "Captain, we're approaching the cursed territory," Raven shouted in warning. But Kalen has no choice. He cannot let Varkos have the map, and he believes the only way to escape the curse is to confront it. The land they enter is the shipwreck graveyard, where the wreckage of thousands of ancient ships lies beneath the waters, sometimes floating up to reveal haunting shadows. The two ships struggle against both tidal waves and ghost ships that appear from the darkness. The ghost ships are the souls of cursed pirates, and they float aimlessly, trying to drag other ships into the depths. Varkos is unconcerned with nothing but destroying the Shadow Siren. His attack severely damaged Kalen's ship. Finally, Kalen makes a crucial decision. He orders Crom to guide the Siren Shadow to the entrance of a dark cave hidden behind a veil of mist. According to an ancient map, this cave is the gateway to the Library of Ages, a place that holds the knowledge of the curse and the heart of Ethel. "We're going in there," Kalen ordered. "No retreat." Chapter 3. The Library of Time. The Sirens must navigate the raging waves and pirate spirits trying to board the ship. But with the help of Crom and Raven, they successfully navigate the ship into the cave. As the ship passes through the mist, the waters magically calm down. The air inside the cave is cold and reeks of salt and thyme. Inside the cave, a vast ancient temple carved from mudstone is revealed, standing on a rock platform in the middle of the water and connected to the entrance by an old stone bridge. Inside the temple, tall bookshelves are filled with ancient texts made from unusual materials, not just paper, but also fish skin, carved coral, and carved stone. "This is truly amazing," Raven muttered. She had never seen anything like it before. Kalen led the way into the library. It was quiet, the only sound being the sound of water drops hitting the stone floor. He searched for books related to the heart of Ethel and the curse of Thalassa, and finally he found a book made from a large seashell, written in an unknown language, but with familiar illustrations. "I found it," said Kalen, his voice full of excitement. "This is the record of the Elder of Ethel." The book contained the story of Ethel and Thalassa, the fall of the kingdom, and details of the curse. It said that the heart of Ethel was not just a source of power, but a spirit of the ocean that could understand and respond to the emotions of those who touched it. For those whose hearts were filled with greed or hatred, the heart of Ethel would unleash even more destructive power. For those whose hearts were pure and who truly desired peace, it would bring peace back to the ocean. The book also mentions the hidden location of the heart of Ethel, the maelstrom of silence, a never-ending vortex at the bottom of the ocean that only reveals the entrance to the abyssal temple when a blood moon appears in the sky. Most importantly, to access the heart of Ethel, one who desires it must bring the key of light and shadow. This key comes in two parts: the sunken scepter, located on the Isle of Sunfire, and the moonstone staff, guarded by the shadow monsters at the hidden Bay of Shadows. "This is even harder than we thought, Captain. We have to find these two things, and we have to wait for the blood moon to appear. It might take a long time." But Kalen had a smile on his face. "This only makes me believe that it is worth pursuing. It is not just a treasure, but an atonement for all of mankind's sins towards the ocean." Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from outside the cave. Varkos's Leviathan Twas had caught up with him. His ship was trying to break into the cave with the power of its cannons. "It's time to go," Kalen ordered. "We won't have time to sit around reading any more fairy tales." Chapter 4. Journey to the Key of Light and Darkness. Their journey to